We got Laundry Films. We got Nafisha's daughter. We got Mademoiselle Ali. We got A Barty. We got Smooth Entertainment. Mara Sharice is here. Elle is here. Tadeo's here. My friends are here. Look at y'all all up in the chat. I love when y'all be in here early and waiting. What's up, y'all? Tonight's the night. I'm hella excited. I am your host, JustLatasha, for the evening. I'm here every Monday, 6 p.m. EST live to host a dissection, either breaking down. Oh my God, is it gonna be this night tonight, y'all? Let me get my tongue twisters together. Breaking down your favorite TV shows and or films. So y'all see what it is. Y'all see who the special guest is. Yes, she's here. She's in the room, but we gonna wait because I want to see who else is in here. Dad Ked's always holding me down. What's up, Brisha? Hi, Cassia. I haven't seen you in a while, Cassia. In the meantime, you guys, please go ahead and follow me on social media. I am JustLatasha on Instagram, JustLatasha404 on Twitter. My patrons, as you see, are in the chat, ready and holding it down. Patreon.com/JustLatasha. Look, we've been on Patreon. Yesterday, I dissected episodes 4 and 5 of WandaVision. I don't know if y'all are watching that, but it's a phenomenal show. The color theory, the themes, the details, the tricks, the foolery, the mess. So good. Me and my patrons went ham yesterday. So if you're not a patron, you are truly, truly, truly missing out. I believe this is not an official announcement because I'll be changing my mind quick as hell. I believe I'm going to be dissecting the new season of Snowfall because I did fall in love with Franklin over quarantine. Snowfall comes out on the 24th. And if I decide to move forward, it's probably going to happen on Patreon. So y'all, it better safe than sorry. Get your ass over on Patreon and sign up, okay? $5, sign up. Let's see who else is here. Khaled, my guy, is always here. He won yesterday's dissection. He didn't even know it. Hi, DJ. Young Royalty is here. Amira, Jewel, Nisa. All right, y'all. Usually I'll be stalling, but there's such a huge conversation tonight. I think I want to get started a little early. Whoever ain't here, too bad. It's too damn bad, huh? Let's get started. I want to introduce to you a friend of mine. I want to introduce to you a brilliant mind, Black woman. I have been seeing on her show for years. She continues to push the boundaries of Black millennial conversation. The clips is always viral, always being featured. She's beautiful, she's brilliant, and she brings Black creatives together. Very important to the culture. This woman is very important to the culture. Please welcome to tonight's dissection, my dear friend, Ashley Akunna. Ashley, come on in and say hi to the kids.
Hi, that was an intro. Wow. That was an amazing intro. Thank you so much, Latasha, and I feel the same about you. Hi, everybody who's in the room. Nice to meet you all. I'm glad you all are here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I think the Grapevine TV is something that has shifted our generation. Wow. And I think people are either really into it because it changes their mindset, it changes their thought process. And because of that same reason, I think it intimidates a lot of people because you're indulging in conversations and spaces that people are just not quite ready for, ahead of the curve, if you will.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's a great observation. Yeah. We do our best. We're not perfect, but I'm so happy that people watch it and resonate with it because a lot of times my head is down just working. And then when people tell me they like this show, I'm always like, really? I still have that thing oh yeah, you watch it, great. People watch it. So
baby, the views don't lie. I don't know what the hell my friend is talking about. But anyway, We are here tonight to discuss this incredible film, Judas and the Black Messiah. This is the story of Fred Hampton, chairman of the Illinois Black Panther Party, and his fateful betrayal by FBI informant William O'Neill. Director, Shaka King. Story by Will Burson, Shaka King, and as well as the Lucas brothers, Kenny Lucas and Keith Lucas, the twins, who I've known them from their comedy work, their stand-up comics. They had an animated comedy show on Hulu, and I think it was called the Lucas Brothers. And they've appeared in a bunch of Comedy Central stuff. So to see them tackle this historical film, it's just like, I'm so impressed. I'm so blown away by them. I'm already a fan, but now I've entered stan territory. Right. This movie stars Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield. So Ashley, any initial thoughts to start off about Judas and the Black Messiah?
Yeah, there are a lot of things that I liked about the film. I loved the score, the musical choices that they used. I loved the acting. I loved the mood and tone of the film, like the fall colors, the beiges, the tans, the browns, the various greens that they used in the film. I wish I could have seen more of Chicago and what Chicago was like. But I was definitely blown away by Dominique Fishback, who played Deborah Johnson, Fred Hampton's fiance. I think she's beautiful on screen. I think she brought a gentleness to the role and an innocence to the role that was so great. And I loved the buildup of their relationship. Daniel Kaluuya, Lakeith Stanfield. I think that they're two of the greatest actors of our generation, and I'm so excited for their careers. And like certain choices that they made, like watching it again, I'm like, yeah, they're different. They're different. They're very
sure. Somebody tweeted like, Daniel Kaluuya needs an Oscar just for the way he tilts his head. Pressure, okay? He
right.
invokes pressure.
Right.
There's something about the way he does his very still, grounded intensity. Like he sits in the character. I completely forget to call him by his real name.
Right.
And that's always what I'm looking for in acting. Like, I don't want to be like, Daniel Kaluuya look cute here. First of all, he's thick as hell in this movie. He look good as hell, okay?
Handsome guy.
That skin, stop. But to see him in each and every role I've seen him in, I was like, that's Chris. This is Fred. Like he brings me there. And he's so focused and diligent about his craft.
Right. I was also really, I really love like the other characters, like Ashton Sanders and Al G. Smith. I love that being like new, like Black actors, you know?
Yes.
And I thought they did an amazing job. I thought like the people around him that played the other Black Panthers were awesome. So yeah, the acting I'm really a fan of.
Yes, and as we dive into tonight's dissection, I just want to be very clear. So what I'm going to be focusing on tonight are the contrast between William O'Neill and Fred Hampton. There are women in this film that are integral to the Black Panther Party, that are integral to the story. They're phenomenal actors. However, for this specific dissection, I will be focusing on those two leads, but I don't want to continue without mentioning them. We have Dominique Thorne playing Judy Harmon. We have Amber Sade Robinson playing Betty Coachman. We have Dominique Fishback, as Ashley mentioned, playing Akunna and Jerry. I hope I said that right. Mm-hmm. And it's a very important fact to know that in the peak of the Black Panther Party, it consisted of 60% women. They were powerful and integral to the movement. And so to know that fact, it bewilders me when Black women are left out of so many powerful positions, as leaders, as contributors, as educators, as warriors, as soldiers. Right. The way this movie allowed women to pick up the gun and stand in the front of the line because they wanted to, not because, niggas is hiding. I was like, oh yes, women shoot. Let's understand, okay? All right, is y'all ready? Y'all look ready. I see we got nice people here in the room. What was you gonna say, Ash?
No, I said the woman got a lot of shots off during that time.
Hello. All right, without further ado, we're gonna dive right into Judas and the Black Messiah. Ashley, follow my lead. Here we go, girl. You ready?
I'm ready.
Act One, let's meet everyone that we're talking about. Let's see what we're even dealing with. Let's set up the world, the rules, and see what our characters are up against. And in these several opening shots, we're getting to know two groups, the Black Panther Party and, of course, the FBI. Now, here's what's happening. There's a battle between what Black Panthers were actually doing, serving the Black community and being a positive force against white supremacy, versus the narrative that the FBI was telling about the Black Panther Party. And we have FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover saying they're the single greatest threat to our national security. And we watch him leading his people into this program called Counterintelligence Program, COINTEL Pro, dismantle this group before a Black Messiah arises among their midst. Mm-hmm. All right, so we see that there's still pretty much this war going on today, vilifying Black people that are doing well, vilifying Black people who are being murdered, vilifying Black people according to the tale of white supremacy, having this imposed narrative so racist white people can abuse us in peace.
Yeah, it's actually psychosis.
It has to be.
It's actually crazy. Yeah, and like I loved how they they showed all the archival footage to us, and then we see it's leading into this, this room of FBI agents getting this like misinformation that these people are bad. I thought that was a great choice to do that. And
worse than China, worse than Russia. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's meet our guy here. We have William O'Neill.
Yeah.
Lakeith Stanfield standing in as William did this original interview, his only interview, Eyes on the Prize 2 in 1989. And we see here, he is nervous. He is sweating bullets because to tell the story is so heavy on him. Mm-hmm. And in this interview, he's being asked about his involvement with the Black Panther Party. And as we see him, this is him finally telling the truth. How do we know that? We see these bright lights on him. He's facing forward. We can see his face versus how we meet him, this flashback moment where he started, this very hidden identity, right? He's in the shadows. He's in the dark. His face is hidden. We can tell that he's getting ready to lie. He's getting ready to not be truthful about who he is. And we see this color that we always talk about in our dissections, what the color red means. It means danger, warning, caution. So who is he getting ready to lie to? Who is he getting ready to affect? And this is taking place down at Leon's bar. Also to note, when you often see a checkered floor in film, this usually represents a split of identity. Somebody's not quite being themselves. Someone's wearing a mask, right? And this is exactly what's happening, which is why we still have not seen his face as of yet. Mm-hmm. Who he presents is not real.
Right.
Until that moment happens, he gets hit, his face is revealed, and he's exposed as a fraud with that shaky ass badge, leading him into the possession of the FBI. So, from what we originally saw as red being something dangerous, transferring to a wound on his body, we finally see that fraudulent badge, which William tells Roy Mitchell is more powerful amongst my community than a gun ever will be.
Right. The police.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, this scene where we're introduced to, what's the detective's name?
Roy Mitchell.
Roy Mitchell. It's kind of like the characters are in two worlds. Roy Mitchell's asking him all these questions about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and how he felt. And this guy, Will O'Neill, is just trying to make sure that like he's scared that he's going to get charged for something, and it's so interesting to see the two of them in this scene together. I think Lakeith plays scared very well. I think he plays scared very, very well.
He played everything very well. I hope he played me very well. But you know what? We're going to move on and meet Roy Mitchell, who Tadeo in the chat says Jesse Plemons always plays crazy evil people entirely too well. This is our FBI agent, Roy Mitchell, who has William in his possession.
Right.
So Ashley said something very important that she said, this is Roy's world. And you guys can see this with the breakdown of color theory, right? How Roy is in this authoritative stance, peering over Will. He's surrounded by this very pale blue. But look right behind William, he kind of has this vertical split. Again, we're playing with the themes of split identity. So we have Roy's FBI pale blue on the left side of Will versus this brown on the right side of Will. So now William has this choice. Which world will he serve? The blue FBI or his people, the brown? And he's pinned in this position. In order to avoid jail time, William must pose as a member of the Black Panther Party, led by Fred Hampton, becoming the Judas to the Black Messiah. And I thought it was so funny because in order to avoid about maybe collectively 7 years jail time, he would pay a lifetime of this soul-crushing guilt.
His life. His life. Yeah.
He paid for his life right here in this moment. That reminded me of the what does Ava call them? Emancipated Five? That don't sound right.
Exonerated.
Exonerated. How just these tiny moments dictate the outcome of a Black person's life. And it's not in their choice. And Roy presents it as a choice, knowing that it ain't
a choice. Or knowing that the guy is going to become an informant. This isn't the first time that he's done this. Roy's character is very interesting throughout the film because I don't know if we'll get into it later, but there are certain scenes that he makes some interesting choices and decisions as well.
We're going to get into it whenever you want to get into it. Fran, what you want to talk about?
Well, essentially, it's later in the film, but you can kind of see that he's like separate or like he's not really chummy with his colleagues. The moment later in the film where J. Edgar Hoover calls him in the office and he says, "What are you going to do when your daughter brings home a Negro?" And then the next scene is him at the restaurant and he brings Bill O'Neill to the restaurant. And as Bill O'Neill is walking in, there's a white woman sitting down admiring Bill O'Neill. And Roy clocks it. And that's when he tells him, "You're going to have to set up Fred." Yeah, girl.
Wait, okay, now let's wait till we get to it. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about it. Okay, let's wait till we get to it. I didn't even notice that. All right, now I'm excited. I've been excited, but I'm excited to talk about that part.
That's kind of activated by Edgar Hoover and this fear, which literally is like the history of Black people when they cut off like Black men's penises and all that stuff. That fear of Black men having access to their women. So. Yeah.
Let's hold it, friend. Let's hold it, friend. We're going to dive way deeper into that thought. Y'all, this is a show tonight. This is a show tonight. Here is where I want to start drawing some visual parallels between our two characters here, between Fred Hampton and between William O'Neill. So now we're here. We finally meet our other guy, Fred Hampton, who's leading the community with his earlier speeches. He doesn't know how to quite like get them to believe, how to rally them up. He's got a little edge to his speech. He's not really like as skillful as he later becomes. But I want to look at the colors here. Of course, we remember that brown, which I believe, please come up with your own theories. Brown representing the Blackness, the Black community, versus this blue FBI presence, right? We see what color that flag is, that Free Huey flag. It's the same blue as Roy Mitchell's office, right? Because why? Huey is in police captivity. Right. Huey is the co-founding member of Black Panther Party, and he's currently in prison for allegedly murdering a police officer during a traffic stop, leading to the popular slogan across much of the movement back then, Free Huey. And we can see how these two characters are already being opposed using the visual of color. We have William encompassed in the FBI blue, but Fred, on the other hand, that's a little further away. He's not quite in that world. It's not quite affecting him yet. He's totally consumed in his own community. So I want to pay attention here too. I want to start having conversations. There's themes in Fred's speech that happen right here. And he says these few things. There's a difference between revolution and reform. Revolution just teaches slaves how to be better slaves.
Right.
Capitalists of all colors are just here to exploit the people. And so this is something that really hit me. Political power is at the barrel of a gun. Now I have a question for you, Ashley. For us to think about this for just a second, Fred Hampton was just 21 years old. William here is 17. And I think about our Black generation that occupy those ages today, our 21-year-olds of today. Mm-hmm. Are they free enough to not have to be this radical at that age?
Well, I think that we can't really compare because the stakes were different. You know, the stakes were just like completely different. We live in a completely different world. Yeah, I just think that the stakes were much, not that they're not high now, but they were much higher then. And yeah, I just think it's different. I can't really compare the two.
That's what leads me to that question, because I'm thinking we had these radical young Black people doing this much work. Right. So yes, that would lead to a better world. So have some parts of our generation found comfort, and they're just like, it ain't that bad no more, whatever. I got Instagram, and like, it doesn't feel like we still need to be in this fight like that.
I mean, I definitely feel like we're all more comfortable, but I do think that there are like young Black people who are very radical,
yes,
very out in the streets. There was that young woman who, she spoke at this police meeting with the public and went in. From what I understand, she's an activist. So there are a lot of young people who are just as knowledgeable and passionate as Fred was. I just think that you won't really see them caught up in this type of violence that like took Fred's life, or this type of you're just not going to see them in the positions that Fred and his friends were, because it's just a different time.
Yes, absolutely. A Black H, what's up, Mark, says, I hate how we still habitually write off radical Black youth today while honoring Fred Hampton. Black Renaissance says there's too much access to other things for 21-year-olds today. And Mark continues by saying the stakes are not that much different today. I guess what I'm getting at is it's not common for Black 21-year-olds today to be walking out with pistols ready to shoot a cop at any moment.
I mean, yeah, that's
essentially what I'm speaking about. Like, I think the fight has altered to where we use our voice, we stand up, we march. It's still very dangerous. It still can cause death. That's very true. But are we collecting and standing on the corner with hip-length pistols and being like, what's up? I don't think we're in that space anymore.
I mean, that's a great point, because when that character killed the two cops in the restaurant or whatever it was, I was like, whoa, just
down to the bodega, shot two cops. And that was like, he was going to do it.
But also his character is not based on a real character also.
Yes.
It's on like different people, but go ahead.
But the friend who avenged him, which we'll touch on a bit later as well, the friend, Jake Winters, was a real person who went to go avenge that character and like was outside too. Judy was outside. Like, so that's really what I'm talking about. I don't think the Black youth today are all sitting here dancing on TikTok. I'm not reducing them to that, but I do think what the fight is today definitely looks different than what this was.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. Getting down to the classroom with the Black Panthers. Fred is teaching his people, and he says, war is politics with bloodshed. I wrote it backwards. War is politics with bloodshed. Politics is war without bloodshed. So this is a kind of question I just want to throw out there. And I want to see how we compartmentalize this idea. Do you feel we have, I think we kind of already answered this actually. Do you think we can reset this system without violence?
That's a great question. I think that I'm at a point in my life where I realize that like all of this is spiritual, and I know it sounds corny, but the reality is like white people have like guns, tanks, nuclear, they even have nuclear weapons, which is insane that nuclear weapons are even built. But I think white people need a spiritual revolution. I think they need healing. I think that they need to the hate and the anger that they have, they need to find peace so the rest of the world can see peace. And I don't think that will come to peace without white people first taking a really strong look at themselves and having a spiritual revolution. That's what I think. I think once they do that, things will fall into place. Sounds a little hippie-ish, but that's where I'm at 32.
Girl, the entire chat is saying absolutely not. Everybody's like, we cannot.
I'm not saying wait. I'm not saying wait for them. What I'm saying, for things to actually change, I think white people have to like take a look at themselves, like for real, like a spiritual look. They're very unhappy, and it's like I said, I think it's a psychosis. I think it's something that's deeply wrong mentally, and yeah, I think if they ever come to that, the world will know peace, like real peace. I mean, even when you think about the idea of like, why would you build a nuclear weapon? Like that's insane, actually. To build to drop on. Why are you dropping a nuclear weapon on anybody? Why? Like, you don't think about the human cost. There's something wrong. But yeah, that's how I feel.
I can agree with that. One of the things that Fred Hampton said in this moment as he's educating is that the most powerful weapon is the people. He is speaking about unity, bringing people together to take down this massive system, which brings me to the next color that we often see, the color green. And I think originally when I saw this, I was meeting the Black Panthers in their very army fatigue, militant gear. And I was like, does that mean like the warrior spirit? Does that mean? But actually, as the movie progressed, you would see each group of people, like once they represented a group, the young white Confederate groups, the poor white people, and the Puerto Ricans and the Crowns, each group were wearing green. That just represents who they are and when they do collectively come together. So it's very interesting how Fred is speaking about this, using the white chalk, critiquing the war of white supremacy. And William, who is having this white light shine on him with the white bandage covering up the wound white supremacy gave him.
Right.
The opposing colors between the two men to show where they are emotionally and who is really in control of their journey at the moment. There was this really cool visuals as well. I just wanted to draw this visual parallel where there's smoke coming up in front of Fred, and back when William's back at Roy's office, there's smoke coming up in front of him. And they do this a lot with just these like opposing visuals, and I think it's really, really, really beautiful. But at this point, we come up upon our inciting incident, bringing us from Act 1, thrusting us into the second act. And this is a point in the film where our lead enters a new world. This happens about 18 minutes into this film, where we were watching William get to know both sides. He had to get to know the FBI. He had to get to know the Black Panthers. And at first, he's really resistant to both. He don't want to be in none of this, okay?
He just don't want to be in jail. I said he just don't want to be in jail.
Yes. Leave me alone. I just wanted to boost the car and go about my day. Damn. But now that he's here, he's fully in. He's fully aligned with the Black Panthers. He's fully aligned with the FBI. And in order to do his first mission with the Black Panthers, he asked Roy Mitchell, he asked the FBI for a car. So he's literally using a tool from one world to go do a mission in his second world, and he's operating between both ends. And it's so funny because we started the movie with him pretending to be a cop and hiding his true identity. And now we're still kind of getting to know who he is, but he's fully integrating into the mask. He's fully going to perform this character how we met him. So we enter Act 2. So far, the character, things should be going pretty well, right? Like we're fine. I'll do the thing. Let's go ahead. And it should be working in their favor. Drawing more visual parallels, how in the beginning, he went to go harm Leon's bar, showing that red, which led to him being caught by the FBI in that blue room, giving him that wound. And now, as he has to return to this bar.
And I love how it's like right on his face, right on the path. I said, wow, that was a great choice by the directors.
Yes, Leon's bar becomes the same wound that the FBI gave him. Like, this is power in visual storytelling, which I thought was incredible. And also, even though he's doing the work with the Black Panthers, he's got that red wound on his face. And the interior of the car is that same FBI blue. So both of those worlds are definitely coming together right here. Let's meet the other characters here. We got Jimmy Palmer, played by Ashton Sanders. He's beautiful. Jake Winters by Algie Smith. Dominique Thorne as Judy Harmon. And remember, guys, these are all pretty much teenagers. They range from 17 to 21. They're so young. This first meeting don't go well. Okay, Fred Hampton goes into Leon's bar. This is Crown's territory. And they told him to get out and do it quick, right? Again, showing that green between the two groups. The Crowns are wearing this green beret. And Fred is entering the space asking for unity, but you see that red behind him. You see that danger behind him. There's something blocking this unity right now. The answer is a no. it's an absolute no.
The one scene, I'm sorry to jump in, but there's one scene before that. You don't have it here, but when he pulls out the gun, the head crown pulls out the gun and the camera pulls out and stays on him as he's pointing the gun. That was just loved it. Loved it.
Director did his thing here, right? He showed off.
Coming into the frame, it was great. It was great. Go ahead. You got it.
I'm trying to see what the chat is saying. Okay, you guys are talking about other groups that we will meet later. So let's get back into Roy Mitchell. The visuals here told such a powerful story. Roy Mitchell of the FBI tries to convince William, look, the Black Panthers and the KKK, they're the same thing. They equally bad terrorists. You understand? So in him convincing white equals brown, you see that they're sitting in a brown setting matched with this huge white light right between them, right?
Right.
You see Roy aligned with both white supremacy, and blue, that FBI blue, and everything brown in Roy's house is there to serve him. He's literally being elevated in this space. He got brown liquor to drink. He's sitting on his brown chair. It was all decorative. And William, you're just a guest here. Everything that gives Roy his power is on the backs of brown. Do you understand? So here if we look at the bottom right where we see William, he's still under the eye of a white cop. We're having this portrait, this lineage of power, this lineage of supremacy. And William's clothes, it shows just where he is. He's wearing these blue stripes because the FBI got him in prison. You're trapped even though you look free. He has a red turtleneck under that because he's hiding this wound, right? He's hiding like I'm doing something that ain't quite right.
Right.
And that final layer, his jacket, it has all these little checker prints on the lapel because we're still in that checkered layer, that split identity. So just looking at how they stacked the visuals to tell the power structure of the story was really, really incredible. So Ash, I have a question here, and I actually have a question here for the audience. So I want y'all both to jump in. Mm-hmm. We have Roy Mitchell in the presence of his FBI coworkers, and they're racist and they're saying these terrible things. And Roy is a little more reserved. And he's kind of hanging back. And now he's in front of stripes, which usually means like trapped and imprisonment. And he's not quite getting to be himself. To me, this felt a little white savior. And I don't know if this was a white production thing. I don't know if this is true to Roy's character. He's the FBI agent with a heart of gold. Do you feel like as much pressure as it was for William to be trapped in this, would it be possible for this white man to be trapped in this almost as well?
I mean, it's possible. Do I think that's what was happening with the character? I don't know. I did do research on this guy and the story about him, going to Mississippi and solving that murder was true, like Cheney and all those people that were murdered. And I think maybe in his eyes, he was doing the right thing, which he did in Mississippi. And I don't know. I think maybe he looks at himself as a good guy. But I do think that there is this switch in a lot of people like him that turns on, that says there's a threat, Black people are a threat, and we're going to neutralize the threat. So, I mean, I don't really know what his character motivation is other than what they're telling us. But to me, it seems clear that like he is not the typical FBI agent in the sense that he's not where he wants to be. You can tell he wants to gain, you know, he wants to get higher up in the ranks. That's why he says, oh, me being an FBI agent, my salary, it's a living. When J. Edgar Hoover, you know, entices him to kill Fred Hampton, he takes it because he knows that means career advancement. So I feel like that's the only thing I really know about this character, career advancement, and he thinks he's a good guy.
Which was my thing, because that would parallel his journey to William O'Neill's journey, kind of like pinned under the system and making a choice that serves self-interest.
Yeah.
But being trapped to do the worst thing. And it's just really interesting, but it changes for me because obviously Roy is on the winning team. So like.
Right.
But jumping into the, go ahead, Ashley.
That's a great point, Latasha. I think that if that is what the directors were trying to do, they really should have hit it harder. And we should have gotten to know O'Neill and Roy better. But I think that's a great point.
Mara Cherie says, Roy actually thinks he's doing the righteous thing, but no, not a good guy. He is a white centrist.
Yeah.
Alex N says, this reminds me of the white CIA agent Savior in Black Panther. Alexia agrees. I got the white Savior vibe from him too. I'm all for civil rights speech to William. How you conspiring against the Black Panthers, but you feel like you feel them a little bit. Like it to me, it just don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Dadkez said Roy acted like how white liberals act in today's society. To me, BLM all up in the bio, but kikiing with your racist grandma down to the Thanksgiving. Which is it, baby? Uchi Wally or one mic? Y'all gonna have to decide. So it didn't work the first time, but hopefully we can try again. Mm-hmm. Black Panther's second meeting with the Crowns. Now, this is a really cool visual because both groups are in black and green, but each side's colors are inverted. Mm-hmm. Black Panthers with the black beret and the green jacket versus the Crowns with the green beret and the black jacket. Two sides of the same coin.
Right.
And Fred said the weapon is the people. However, these two groups at this moment are at war. Two groups with one singular white item standing, dividing them. Mm-hmm. And we understand that this pamphlet is what these racist FBI members developed to keep these groups divided. So I have this question, and I want us to just stop and really think about it. This one might be a little complex, but I want to see where we land. So this is for everybody. At this moment, the Crowns are ready to kill the Black Panthers. We got guns see ahead. So thinking about Fred's teaching from earlier, if war is politics with bloodshed, what are their politics, right? Because usually when white people go to war, it's like, I want to conquer this versus no, I want to conquer this, so we're going to battle it out. I want your land, I want your oil, I want the power, X, Y, and Z. Right. But if these two Black groups down in Chicago are going to war, what are their politics?
What are their politics? Well, I definitely feel like the politics of Fred and the Black Panthers stand true in terms of, you know, before they went to see the Crowns, they always put their guns away. You know, they're not there to cause bloodshed. And I think what's happening here is, you know, machismo, more so coming from the Crowns. It's, you know, it's like, who are you? You know, the head Crown wants to know what do you want? What's going on? And he's giving him he's being spicy, very spicy, intimidate. And I think it's just it's kind of like when two animals come together and they check each other out and they, you know, circle each other. I think this is what that scene means, but I don't know. That's my take on it. I think Fred, you know, he wants peace. He wants to work together. And I think the head Crown just wants to see what the fuck they want and to intimidate them a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Crowns definitely want their space and they block. Like, don't come in here running numbers on breakfast because we got breakfast locked down too.
We got that too. What you think you doing? I was like, okay.
Good deeds. I feed people. What's up?
He's like, 1,300 too. He said 300. Whoa, energy. I love it.
What say you, chat? My thing is, I couldn't decide if there were politics. I think for Black people and Black men, we just learned war as power. We forgot the politics. What are we fighting about?
Right.
What are we even fighting about?
I don't even think they know. I don't
Sorry?
think the head crown, like the head crown guy, I don't think he knows. Like I said, I think he's there. He's just coming to check them and see what do you want.
LB says they're trying to create a new system that doesn't rely on politics but rituals. A Black H says it exemplifies how white supremacist and capitalist ideals can still seep into liberation work.
That's true. Great point.
My thing is, I think his name is Steele, the head crown member. Steele really isn't clear on what the politics is, but this for him feels like power. And so thinking of if war is politics with bloodshed and Steele just wants the bloodshed, well, that means there will be no politics. And if there is no politics, then essentially there should be no war. And Fred says this, which was really, I want to bring it back. Political power is at the barrel of a gun. So what's the symbol of them putting the war down? Steele hands Fred a gun. They exchange war for politics, AKA political power. I was like, oh shit.
That was a great portion because he was like, he was essentially saying like, I like your ideals, but you have a long road ahead and you need to protect yourself.
I got the army, you got the brains. Unity, green, unity. They exchange war for political power. We are powerful together. And Fred Hampton,
I don't think at this point that the crowns were on board yet. They weren't on board until the shootout. And that's why he gave him the gun. I think he gave him the gun in like a way to say, like, you're naive. So you're gonna like, you need this. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I thought that was a peace offering. Like, I was about to shoot you with this. Matter of fact, you my mans now, have that. Like, and he offered like his army, like we got the manpower. And Fred offers like, well, I got the political platform. So what happens if we come together? So I give you my gun.
Okay. I got to watch it again and see.
Tadeo says choosing true life over just survival. And from this point, we start to see Fred Hampton continue to align with other marginalized groups. He met the preacher man of the Young Patriots organization. He unified with the Puerto Rican groups who lost someone to police brutality as well. And Ash, I wanted to just quickly have this conversation with you. Today, I feel misaligned with everyone as a Black woman. I don't trust POC. I don't trust liberal right people. There are many times I question the intention of my alignment with Black men because they hurt me a lot and they hurt Black women a lot. I find trouble unifying with different groups. So to see Fred kind of maneuver this world and get everybody together, do you think that could happen today? That should happen today?
LSD, some shrooms, I don't know. I mean, we have people who call themselves Young Patriots storming the Capitol, So I don't know. I don't think so. But I do think what Fred did back then was very powerful. And it also took a sense of not being triggered by seeing the Confederate flag and saying, okay, I'm just going to put that in the back of my mind and understand that these people are disenfranchised like me and we can work together. I think that took a lot. So I don't know if that could happen today. I don't know. And I also think that if the Black Panthers were around today and they did something like that, people would give them a lot of shit for being in relationship with someone like the preacher man.
I wonder what it would take.
Drugs. Strong drugs.
Moving on. More visual parallels here between these two characters looking the same, all right? Both wearing this brown and white, but we have William sitting at a fancy restaurant with Roy Mitchell, handing over more information about the Black Panther Party to the FBI and eating heartily off of some white supremacy, enjoying himself.
He got the napkin right here.
Got the napkin in the neck, okay? Versus Fred who uses his blackness to unify people and suffocate white supremacy. So that napkin at the neck is like, I'm enjoying what whiteness is giving me right now. This is good. Versus Fred, who's like, it could die. It could go ahead and die. I also want to note here that William has absolutely no wound in this scene. He is like, he's living large.
He's healed.
He's living large. He's completely enjoying his betrayal. And in the scene, I didn't include it here, but there's a black waiter with a red blazer, because essentially the effect of a William O'Neill on the community is hurting his people, but it ain't his problem.
Yeah. Bill O'Neill was definitely like, he didn't have an allegiance to anybody. He had an allegiance to himself in this film, the way they portrayed him, definitely.
Atari Gem says proximity to whiteness and lack of access will be our collective barrier. Woo! Fred Hampton has officially become targeted. Edgar J. Hoover says, get his black ass off the streets. We see that black and white photo of Fred. We see that red target around his head. He is officially in possession of white supremacy as he shifts during a breakfast program in the white shirt and arrested by people of color. The wound is not quite hitting Fred, which we're starting to lean into now. I really want to start questioning where Fred's wounds are, but his partner, Deborah Johnson, played by Dominique Fishback. And we see, of course, the white light of supremacy shining right between them, dividing this couple. So I want to move into here. Fred Hampton is jailed for allegedly stealing $70 worth of ice cream. And we see he is in possession of the police force in this blue uniform, the striped walls of white supremacy, because they run the prison industrial complex. And who are they going to fill it up with? We see those brown pipes, all the black and brown people who occupy the cells. So, Ash. Fred is jailed. And at that moment, the Black Panther Party suffers because of that. His presence not being there starts to affect their membership, which starts to decrease. The donations start to decrease. And a lot of people critiquing what the movement looks like today say it's sloppy because it lacks a leader. It's not organized. It don't have like a singular plan. Do you think a leader figure is essential to organizing and progressing movements?
I think it's important, but I don't think it's essential. If you watch a film like Battle of Algiers, you see towards the end, the leaders of that movement in Algeria against the French were bombed and killed. But the Algerians kept protesting even after they died. And the big theme of Battle of Algiers is, it's the people, the revolution. It's not just the leaders. So I think that, I see why people would say that, but I think that if you look at revolutions around the world, you look at Haiti, Toussaint, we all know, Toussaint, he died in a French prison. Dessalines is the one who carried it through. The people are the ones who carried it through after their leader died. So, yeah, that's my opinion.
Momi says many of our past leaders will be considered problematic now. MLK, Malcolm X, Panthers. Folks deify and romanticize historic figures, knowing that we wouldn't support them today. People wouldn't support them today.
Malcolm X couldn't be Malcolm X today. Fred Hampton, none of them.
None of them. I even, before we even went live, I was telling Ashley, I was like, this movie in itself feels weird because you're making a movie about this radical young Black man who was slain, knowing that they're bringing tanks to Ferguson and everywhere now. Like, you don't want this guy. So how could you make millions of dollars praising him and killing us in the streets at the same time? Y'all don't want a Fred Hampton. So it's very strange. This part was very, I really wanted to spend some time here because while in prison, Fred sees an inmate with rabble-rouser carved into his chest. And here's the definition. Rabble-rouser is a person who speaks with the intention of inflaming the emotions of a crowd of people, typically for political reasons. And this inmate is sitting there as an example to the rest of the inmates. I dare you guys to try to get up and revolt. I dare you guys to collect and unify. I dare you. This is what's going to happen. Sitting there just like an example, right? And I believe that this is possibly Fred's first wound, because he has never quite stopped to, I guess, recognize the effect of his leadership, even though what he's doing is a great thing. But now he has this inmate, he's staring right at what he could be if you start that mess in here. So I just wanted to ask everybody, people in the chat, Ash, if you want to jump in. You know, we saw a symbol of danger when he first approached Leon's bar with the crowns, but William jumped in to save him. And then we saw Deborah have a wound when he was arrested to even come here. Do we think Fred is in this total sacrifice mode, or does he just have tunnel vision? Because he's not attending to how this work is affecting anyone around him.
I think it's tunnel vision. I think tunnel vision is a thing that a lot of leaders have. Whether it's political movements, whether it's activism, whether it's running your own show, there's a lot of tunnel vision that happens because you have to focus on the end goal. And I don't think that's healthy, but I definitely think that you brought up a great point that this is the first time where he really he's forced to sit and just see certain things in the film. But yeah, I definitely think it's a case of tunnel vision, for sure.
Would definitely love to know what you guys think as well in the chat. Thank you guys for commenting about my title. This is not a Netflix film. This is an HBO Max.
Yeah. And it's in theaters too.
Ain't nobody out to the theaters. I ain't going.
So sad.
Reed Tyson says Fred got them blinders on. He's totally tunnel vision. Tadeo says eyes on the prize. Y'all are saying tunnel vision, tunnel vision, tunnel vision. Yeah, I guess maybe he wouldn't realize that he's at this moment. He wouldn't quite feel like he's a sacrifice yet. He's just like, we're gonna win. And like that's it. Elle says tunnel vision, like horses need blinders to see the finish line and win the race. And I would agree, because Fred tries to connect with this guy, like, what up? I see you, like, I'm down. And this guy is like, boy, up out my face with that. Are you crazy?
Right.
Not like, he is absolutely not. And this is how they kill our fight, by bringing those tanks to our cities. Y'all want to fight? Let's go. And they do the worst because they want to knock you down one big time. So you understand this will be a losing battle. But Fred wants to keep going. This doesn't even faze him. It don't slow him down in the slightest. And let me tell you something about how petty racism is.
So petty.
The FBI infiltrated the mail between Deborah and Fred, but still sent her the empty envelope. Why would you keep it in the mail? Like, what?
You know, just petty. Just petty for no reason.
And that's what makes me so mad about racism, because I be trying to talk about how little it is. I'm like, she said, how you doing? But she said, like, how you doing? And people are like, okay, you're making it a thing. And I'm like, I'm not making it a thing. Why would you send me an empty envelope?
It's really to dig in and to make him suffer. It's to make him suffer. Because you know why? They're suffering on the inside. That's why. Nobody who's happy does shit like that. Nobody who's happy about their life, you are a miserable person. So that's why you're going to do something like that. Misery, drugs. Sorry.
I can. Reminding you all once again, women absolutely shoot. Shout out to Judy Harmon. But William takes off. He beats it out of town. Police bomb the Black Panther headquarters. We have some Panthers arrested, and they are officially known once again as cop killers. Act 2, things start going awry for our lead, and things start to fall apart. Will wants out. Please notice that he's wearing way less white clothes now.
Mm-hmm. Hold up.
Right. It's like, look, and it may not be like conscious yet, but it seems that he's sort of gravitating to one side way more than the other. He's like, Roy, I'm not in this. Y'all doing a whole lot, right? He's seen the extent of violence that the FBI is willing to go through. And this essentially feels just like one big trap, because if he doesn't finish the FBI job, he'll face jail time. Mm-hmm. And the Black Panthers are rebuilding the bomb site. It's just like, hello, they bombed us. Can we stop now? Because if the Black Panthers stop, he can stop with Roy. And the Black Panthers are like, no, go grab some paint. Stop playing. I really like this visual as well, because the white like consumes the entire frame of the scene, and you can see him drowning in this white supremacy, like that phone booth kind of keeping an eye out, peering like, I see you, you can't go nowhere, I will find you, Roy literally says to William. And it saturates everything. Even the way the vines are sort of like creeping over this white wall, it just reminded me, I just kept hearing like Nina Simone, like blood on the leaves, like racism and Black blood are the vines, the roots of America. It's the roots of white supremacy crawling over that white wall.
100%. Great analysis.
Thank you. Thank you. Young Royalty Production says, being swallowed by white supremacy visually. I don't know why my computer is bugging out right now. Let's see if that works. Yay, we are on. Okay. I'm back, y'all. Woo, because they was trying to get your girl. So there's a color that starts appearing towards this half of the movie, and we really start to lean into the Black and white color themes.
Right.
And we see, again, reminding you guys of Fred Hampton being of that FBI target. So we start to see Black and white arise as he leaves the prison. The Black Panthers paint the Black and white in their headquarters. And this whole thing is happening. The FBI is infiltrating. So much so that we start to see our two guys being paired against each other, this Black versus this white.
I love this scene here where he's like, he was just so happy and joyous to see his friends. I love that scene.
Yes, and come home and have some cake and celebrate, but joy don't last long, do it? It don't last long. Take a look at these visual parallels. Again, we can see the contrast of their leaders. And my favorite scene of the movie.
Yeah, this scene was intense. There's a lot of things happening here. With Lakeith obviously seeing Roy in the crowd being being annoying, just like, why are you here? And kind of keeping that pressure on him. Even, this shot of Fred Hampton talking, Daniel Kaluuya, as Fred Hampton talking, and his feet are literally, he's so impassioned, his feet are literally lifting. He's like on his tippy toes. Great scene. It's a great scene.
I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. Uh-huh. The people are the power. And looking at that top shot, it's not Fred. They have to kill this whole thing. They have to kill the whole thing. Now, the Black Panther Party was weakened when he was in prison, but imagine if he's dead.
Right. Whew. Gosh, that's a great point. That's a great analysis.
Thank you so much. I want to take note again that this room is green because, once again, all groups are unified. Crowns is here, Latinx is here, Puerto Ricans is here, the Confederate whites is here. Everybody's in one room with the same goal, right? And when Fred is giving this impassionate speech, we see that Black and white right behind him because he's officially a target of the FBI. And William, not in white, he totally matches Fred. It's almost like he mirrors him. He's being infected by Fred. Now, I don't know if it's questionable because his actions still portrayed this, right? But I think there was a moment where William almost went there, almost crossed over, right? Mm-hmm. At this point, the FBI kills a Black Panther member, Jimmy Palmer, and Fred honors him by saying, I would be so honored, like my friend, to die for the cause. Now, Deborah's like, hold up, because
we got plans.
We just built the nursery yesterday. What are you talking about?
That's really sad. And you see, even when he's first arrested in the cafeteria when they're feeding the kids, she's mad and he tells her, like, still yourself, and constantly she has to still herself, even in this moment where she's clapping and crying because it's bigger than her. And I just thought that that's like so heartbreaking. It's so sad. So sad.
Yeah, he has to come here and make the choice. Would he move forward with the revolution and risk of not being there for his unborn son? So let's talk about the mothers.
Oh gosh. I hate it.
Yeah. We have Ashley here just for a bit, but I am going to finish up with you all. So our last conversation with Ashley, real quick. We have the father of the revolution versus a literal mother, right? Deborah reads Fred her poem questioning the effect of the revolution on their unborn child. What world are we even bringing our son into, right? And this is when we lose Jake Winters while the voiceover of this poem is going, who's avenging his friend Jimmy. Jake Winters was somebody's son. He put his life on the line against white supremacy. Jake leaves a mother behind, and she asks Fred to humanize him. Don't let white people tell the story of my son. Don't let them do that thing and make him into a monster. He did those vicious, monstrous things, but that's not what he was. He was a boy that farts in church. Tell that story. Fred, please tell the story of my son, Jake Winters.
Stop crying, stop. You gotta stop.
Bree Tyson in the chat said it. Mara Cherie said it. Y'all gonna make me cry.
Like, because he was pushed to this place, and it's so unfair. It's so unfair, and it's like you feel like you have your back against the wall. And I do wish that the film did a better job of showing his friendship with this guy. But it's like, it's just so fucking sad.
Yeah. I want to shout out the person who's playing Jake Winters' mother. Her name is Alicia Joy Powell. It's very funny. We shared a writing group together for the Black TV and Film Collective. She's a lovely woman, and she came in and told us about her role in this. So to finally see her in the scene, and she carried. You better go ahead, Alicia. She did a great job with this scene.
She was great. She was amazing. And I think that's what excited me so much about this film. We see so many new Black talent that like you haven't seen before. You see in so few things. I'm like very excited, and they look like Black people, and they, it's invigorating. I love it. I love it. And I also want to say, even though I have to go, this is not going to be my last, hopefully not my last time here. Hopefully you invite me back. I would love to come back. I will come back, please.
Ashley, let me know. And before you go, just drawing some visual parallels here between the scenes. We have the black and white, that FBI targeting in both homes. You can see it in the lamp behind Fred and Deborah, and you can see it behind Mrs. Winters. Mrs. Winters' home as well. We have Deborah wearing that FBI blue versus that blue on Mrs. Winters' table, and just kind of seeing the transition between the loss of our sons, right? Would Deborah have Mrs. Winters' fate? Is she able to protect her child? Which makes her question her motherhood. What if I can't protect him? And then we have, of course, Fred and Miss Winters both wearing gray, as in the loss of these people, right? Their sons are targeted until death. This black and this white coming together to bring death to the people. Ashley, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Your analysis is amazing. I'm so happy that you're doing this. Great job. I wish I could stay for the rest, but this was awesome.
It's all right, girl. We here for just a few more minutes. I'm so happy to have the crowd. Ashley, take care.
Bye, everybody in the chat room. Thanks
everybody for saying bye.
Their analysis was great too. A lot of great things.
Yes.
All right. Tasha.
See you, boo. All right, y'all. We are going to move right along because we're going to finish this up with a reveal. Who is this new guy played by Lil Rel? Okay. Lil Rel Howery. And William here has an alias name. William introduces himself to a strange woman as Elliot Ness. But in using this fake name, he tells the truth about his identity. Fun fact, Elliot Ness was an American prohibition agent. He was a famous leader of a team of law enforcement called the Untouchables. Y'all, I'm jumping into the chat. Do y'all think Wayne and this woman were working together? You can go ahead, Tate. Okay, bye. The hell? No, Meek, I want you to tell me. Tell me. Do y'all think these two know each other? And I have a little theory, maybe right, maybe wrong. I don't care. I'm here to theorize and have a good old time. Do y'all think they was in cahoots? Why we never seen her again? She ain't never came back out the bathroom or nothing. I want to know. Mademoiselle says yes. Y'all said absolutely. Y'all are saying yes. Smell like a setup. Here's what I'm figuring. Because look, we're doing color theory here. She glitters in white and sits under that blue spotlight. We know what blue and white means. The police force, the white supremacy, all of that. And she approaches him first, but this glitter is almost like this distraction to rile him up. So then when Wayne comes, it's not so abrupt. He has a reason for coming, right? Now, Wayne is sitting here trying to convince Will, look, we on the same side. Just go ahead and poison the bull. Imagine if Wayne would have just came up raw like that. You would be a little more adverse. But this woman came up, softened the blow. What's up, sweetie? Watch my drink, X, Y, and Z. So Wayne sit right in her seat. And both Wayne and Will are betraying the people, right? And I really think this, because I can't tell if Wayne is wearing a brown suit or a black suit, but he's definitely in darker colors. So when we saw like the whites and the blues, we know that's the FBI white supremacy. And we see the brown and the blacks, we know that's the Black Panther black community. So this woman is doing white, Wayne is doing black and brown. And it looks to me about this checkered floor, like we saw in Leon's bar in the beginning, right? That split identity. It looks like they're both portraying his split identity. The woman's like, fill up my drink. Wayne is like, poison him. Like it was just very, Bree says, I think she knows him. Mara says she's here to be his love interest to watch him. I don't know. But essentially, William O'Neill is still being used by the FBI to be a pawn in the FBI's plan. So more visual parallels here. We have the reveal. Wayne is using Will's original fake FBI badge because he's working for Roy Mitchell. Now look at these visual parallels. When we first met Will, he was in the brown coat with the hat with that red car. But now we have Wayne in the white coat and this red hat. So I'm looking at the stripes on Wayne and thinking about how all these entrapments are set up for people. Wayne to us right now feels like the villain, but think about maybe he was propositioned to put William in this space. We don't know how Wayne even got here. He sounds like Roy is his friend, but don't William sound like Roy is his friend? So I'm looking at these white stripes on the back of Wayne and I'm like, how is he trapped? What happened to him? We saw Will in the beginning with the red car because he will be a wound on the community versus Wayne with the red hat because he's going to be a wound on Will. So let's talk about wounds. William agrees to assist the FBI in poisoning Fred, transferring the wound to Fred, represented by this drink. We see Will in front of this black and white pro-Panthers FBI article versus Fred drinking that red drink in front of that black and white lamp. The final betrayal. And Fred is not running. And by the luck of God, Bobby Rush goes home to his family, so he misses this catastrophe. Here's a fun fact about Bobby Rush. He had a victory in a Democratic district primary in the year 2000, and that marks the only time Barack Obama lost an election. Bobby Rush beat Barack Obama, nobody else did. Okay, all right, wrapping it up. Lakeith, the acting, yes, look at the pure guilt in his eyes. Of course, William seen looking like this black and white FBI theme, becoming the Roy of the situation now. Before he was mirroring, Fred was behind him. He was mirroring that. Look who he's mirroring now. He's fully embodied this FBI persona. The shootout happens. Visual parallels when they were just joyously enjoying each other in bed versus how she leaves him. That same spot that used to bring so much joy. Will fully matches the FBI. Black Panthers almost had him, but he fully matches the FBI. This is an action he cannot erase. He was rewarded freedom, $200 and a gas station. Okay. Made about 200 grand over his lifetime. And I wonder if the gas station is a trap. And I asked that because of this. By owning a business, you don't just give him cash, so now he can't go to the Bahamas and Algeria and wherever he want to go. By owning a business, he got to stay here. Because if he runs, he'll lose access to that income. No, here's a gas station. Yeah, it's a gift. They got you locked down still. And Roy insidiously says, you're free. But look at these brown bars right behind him. Look at the sadness. Look at the pinstripes on his suit. You outside, but you ain't free. You're still this prisoner. And even when you're not directly working with Roy, you have that guilt that's keeping you imprisoned anyway. And you got to keep your ass at work. I don't care if Fred is dead. You got to keep your ass at work. So, last question of the night for my audience. William didn't name his actions. He left that up to us. He left that up to the storytelling. He left that up to the documentary. Do y'all give him grace? What do we think? We know the trap set for him. We know the stakes. If he didn't do what he was supposed to do, we know the battles he was fighting. Do you guys give this man grace? Naya says, with that gas station, his life can blow up at any time. Dang. Mara, is that zero for zero grace? Y'all say zero grace. Black Renaissance. Nope. Life with Simi. Nah. Mark says not at all. We don't give him grace. Even after everything, he still did the thing. Tadeo says he judged himself with how he ended his life, so he felt it. Alex said he was a grown adult. He was 17. Ooh, I like this line. Nafisha's daughter says the FBI killed William O'Neill and Fred Hampton. Whew. Will says this. I was a part of the struggle. That's the bottom line. I wasn't an armchair revolutionary. At least I had a point of view. I'll let history speak for me. A really funny thing here as well is that the night that William O'Neill took his own life, his uncle saw him and said he was full of rage. And I think that's such a strange emotion after the guilt, the shame, the regrets. There's so many layers that he could have went to deep sadness, but his uncle said that last night he lived before he jetted out the house, ran directly into a freeway to jump in front of a speeding car. He was enraged. And I imagine what would that mean? Does he want to yell at the FBI? Does he want to yell at himself? Is he angry with Fred? Like what would rage break down to? Because anger is a surface emotion. So I wonder what those layers are. I am dissecting WandaVision over on Patreon. I believe, this is not an official announcement, but I believe I'll be dissecting Snowfall over on patreon.com. Go over there for exclusive live shows happening twice a month on Sundays. You guys don't want to miss that. $5 to join the shows. Follow me on social media. I am JustLatasha on Instagram, JustLatasha404 on Twitter. I thank you all for being here so much. Please subscribe. Please thumbs up this video. Let YouTube know you love what you saw tonight. We always put some hearts in the chat because this is a love room, even if you disagree. I don't care. Go ahead and disagree. I encourage it, actually. That means you're thinking. You're using your own mind. We love it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Last thoughts before we sign out. Mika's wisdom says, like Judas, he is a cautionary tale. We need to watch The Infiltrators. Mark says, I think it's possible to do the work of understanding underlying issues to people making bad decisions and see the humanity while still not offering grace when the harm done was too great. Very well said. Don't Touch My Hair says, it's easy for us to say we would have spent another decade in jail, but a lot of people are not that courageous. And let's not forget the terrors that happened in jail. We saw the inmate with his chest cut by the guards. Jail ain't cute. Jail is not the wave, okay? Elle says, I would like to know more of Bill's story. And I'm actually going to agree with you. We got to see Fred's like love story and see like the other angles and tangents of his life, like his friends and his neighbors and who else he was talking to. Will was just here. Like this consumed his life. Did he have a partner at some point, even after all this was done? Did he have friends? Was he only hanging out with his uncle? I would love to see, was Will connecting with anyone else outside of this thing that entrapped him? I would love to see more. Mara says Fred's assassination was very iffy. That sleeping scene would forever haunt me. Like your pregnant girlfriend not being able to wake you up and like seeing him just not help and save themselves. Like I can't. Thank you guys so much. I am JustLatasha once again. I will be back on Thursday for a bite-sized dissection for Piece of Script. Go ahead and join that. And I'm here every Monday, 6 p.m. EST live, breaking down a TV show or a film that we love. Again, this is on HBO Max, not Netflix. We love you. We'll see you later. Bye.